Hi, everyone. This is Rohit from License Mastering Crew. I'm excited to have Blake Janover, who has over 15 years of entrepreneurial and real estate capital markets experience. He has built and sold companies transcending various industries and countries. And some of Mr. Janover's track record includes building global logistical infrastructure as CEO of a large direct-to-consumer company, overseeing the analysis and processing of billions of dollars in commercial real estate mortgages, building more than 100 class A apartment units in Miami, owning a commercial real estate license, direct lender, and many more. He's been published by Forbes, Housing Wire, and other industry journals. Welcome to the show, Blake.
Thank you for having me. With that introduction, I sound far more interesting than I really am. But, thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, it's a pleasure to have you on board, and you're also founder of Janover Ventures, and you such an interesting background because you've been into real estate, and US definitely has a much more interesting real estate space when it comes to commercial real estate. And how did you get into startups, and what got you interested to build Janover Ventures?
So let's try to keep these answers short. So the first question was like, what made me become an entrepreneur? Is that right?
Yeah.
So this is something that I think is probably somehow encoded in my DNA. I think my grandfather and there's generations back of entrepreneurs in the family, and it's probably a little bit of my environment when I was a kid. But as soon as I could walk and talk, I was starting businesses, whether it was snow shoveling, getting all the snow shovelers together in my community, or having the most successful lemonade stand. It is what it is. So I started probably my first business that made me more than $1 million in the very early 2000s. Maybe I was like 19 years old or something like that. And that's really when I started in real estate and real estate finance and like the technology overlay. So that's been going on for more than 15 years, almost 20. It's a long time. And
Nice.
The other question was Janover Ventures. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Janover Ventures. I worked for quite some time, kind of passively in commercial real estate capital markets and technology. And I put together this like network of websites and systems and everything else. But I had failed in businesses in the past. I had some successes and I had some big blowups. So before I started Janover Ventures, I was kind of like a little scared. And I said, I'm not going to build something big. I'm just going to, run the business, make some money, do some good. And I think from pressure from my sister, from friends, indirectly from my wife. She would never put pressure on me, but like helpful nudges, employees, like really got me to the place where I said, okay, we're going to do Janover Ventures. I'm putting my name on it, and we're going to do things that we never dreamed of doing. We're going to solve this big problem in commercial real estate financing. And we're going to do it really well, really fast, and touch as many people as possible. And that's what's going on now.
Got it. So you're like a connection between commercial real estate investors and lenders, right? So what are some of the challenges which commercial real estate investors actually have? Do they have access to finance, and how are you digitizing the whole concept?
That's a great question. So there's a lot of challenges facing investors and lenders. So the challenge that investors are facing is, number one, a lot of them, especially in the middle of America, are for smaller loans between $1 million and $5 million or $10 million. It doesn't sound small to you or to me, but in the big banking finance world, it's nothing. It's tiny. So these borrowers, these investors, developers, owners, operators, they've been going to their local bank, and their local bank gives them a certain deal. And what they don't know or don't realize is that the bank next door may have a totally different deal, different leverage, different terms, different interest rates, different recourse, different rules. And what they really don't realize in many cases is that all the way over in Washington, D.C. and in Wall Street, there's multi-billion-dollar funds that have much more competitive loan programs that can make them more competitive as business owners, reduce their risk, reduce their costs, their interest rates, and give them a better product. And that's out there. So these borrowers in the middle of America mostly, but we also work with people in LA, Miami, New York, whatever. But these borrowers really don't know about all these options, or they don't know how to access them. And on the big billion-dollar fund side, these huge multi-billion-dollar companies, what do they care about $1 million loan? Not only is it difficult for them to go get it, to build a digital infrastructure to acquire clients online, right? But they have no incentive, because they could do one loan for $10 million or 10 loans for $1 million. They're going to do the one loan for $10 million, and they're going to make the same money for 1/10 of the work, for 1/10 of the effort. So the first thing we're doing is we're making it easier for these lenders to get these borrowers, and we're making it easier for these borrowers to find these lenders. And in the middle, we're working on building software and technology to reduce these frictions as much as possible, because there's a lot of frictions in the middle. And finally, we have proprietary lead flow. We have unlimited leads. It's not unlimited, but we built something that's kind of like the Investopedia of commercial real estate. So we have all these websites: multifamily.loans, HUD.loans, commercialrealestate.loans, CMBS.loans. We just crossed over this month 1 million visitors in the last 12 months. So it's mostly organic. It's like more than 900,000 direct organic search visitors that we're providing them educational content. We're giving them the tools, like, hey, you could go do it yourself, or we can help make it happen for you and hold your hand along the way. So that's kind of some of the stuff that we're working on and how we're doing it.
Interesting. And you talked about your digital media network. Is that the only way you're getting all your deal flow? I'm wondering, how do you acquire customers? How do you acquire these borrowers who can come onto your platform?
Yeah, so most of our lead flow is through SEO, which is search engine optimization. And this is when you go on Google and you look for something, you don't have a paid ad. You like the first organic spot for thousands of searches were on that first page of Google, for 1,000 of relevant searches. Once somebody comes to our website, well, then we're going to do some marketing, right? We're gonna remarket to people. We're gonna follow them around and offer them some options and remind them who we are, like a little tap on the shoulder. Don't forget, if you want to get a multifamily loan, you can come through our portal over here, and we'll send them back into our portal, and ultimately, run our algorithms or our processes and score the leads and distribute them to connect them with either folks internally or lender partners, depending on a myriad of factors.
Got it. And when it comes to commercial real estate, what are the current split between multifamily and other real estate and something very interesting there in US is you also have retail outlets which are also classified as commercial real estate. So what do you think is the split between all the real estate products that you have?
What is the state, did you say?
The split between multifamily and commercial real estate.
The split. So is that right? It's like, what's the split? Like, how do we break it up?
Yes.
Okay, so we have products for multifamily, office, retail, industrial, hospitality, SBA, right? And a lot of what we do is involves government guarantees, sponsorship, subsidies, stuff like that. So Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA have great multifamily products, and there is uninterrupted liquidity. When banks stop or freeze and CMBS companies shut down and lenders don't want to lend, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA put money into multifamily, and the SBA puts money into owner-occupied commercial real estate and business loans. So to speak to the split, earlier in the year, we were heavier on office and office construction, and now we're doing a lot of multifamily refinances. because rates are super low, and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are putting out great stuff. COVID has been a real challenge for commercial real estate as a whole. But when you disaggregate it and break it into little pieces, multifamily generally has been incredibly resilient, has performed really, really well, surprisingly well. Student housing suffered, right? But multifamily as a whole, outside of New York City and San Francisco, has performed really, really well. Industrial and distribution centers have performed well. Small office and office in small markets, poorly. Small retail, poorly. Office with AAA tenants, like in New York City and San Francisco, doing great. Their tenants aren't showing up, but they're paying their rent because they have good credit. So the buildings are in better shape because they don't have to bother with having people in them. So anyway, we are, because of the products we have, we're able to kind of move with the market. And since we don't make loans or lend money, we don't shoulder or carry any risk associated with underwriting and credit and things like that.
Got it. And Blake, looks like it's a huge market. It's around $3.6 trillion. I was wondering, who are your competitors when it comes to financing such commercial real estate borrowers?
So there's a few kinds of competitors. There's big lenders, but instead of competing with those incumbents, we're working with them to be their digital client acquisition. There's commercial mortgage brokerages, right? Traditional commercial mortgage brokerage businesses. Those are our most direct competitors. And the way we're competing with them is that because we can make the process more efficient, we can work with smaller loans, and we can work with larger loans more quickly and more efficiently. And there's just going to be a race to the bottom in fees. And because we don't have a million originators, right? Our sales staff is so light. Right now, it's only 2 guys. That's all we need to do everything that we're doing. Whereas they need an army of college students on the phones, cold calling, and all these other crazy things. We have almost 1 million free visitors to our websites a year. And there's also some companies that are working on building kind of a marketplace, kind of like that part of our process, but they don't have that I know of, what we have, which is so many multifamily, commercial, and business owner eyeballs, and that proprietary lead generation. If you've ever been in a business that has any sales, everybody's like, "Where do you get the leads? Where are the leads?" We own the leads. It's our leads. So, so that's kind of where we are right now.
Got it. And I wanted to understand about your unit economics. Since you are using SEO marketing and content marketing, does it really lower down your cost of acquisition? I just wanted to understand, what would be the unit economics for such a product?
I mean, so our cost per acquisition from a marketing perspective is, let's say, you don't hold me to this, right? But I would say that we are less than 10% of our revenue goes to client acquisition. And from my experience, we could shut off all of our marketing and just have a $0 or near $0 acquisition cost because we have so much SEO. So a lot of the money that we're spending on the top of the SEO is kind of inefficient, but because the unit economics are so substantial, it's immaterial. So depending on which vertical we're in is kind of like there's a different average unit economics. So it can go anywhere from like a particular type of deal where the average unit economics are $200,000 per deal, all the way down to really small business loans where we're just making it easy to facilitate a $10,000 loan where we might make a couple $100, and that's okay because they're both using the same amount of bandwidth, which is very little.
Got it. And do you also use an app or other what are the touch points which borrowers can use to look at Janover Ventures?
So we've got a lot of websites: multifamily.loans, commercial real estate.loans, CMBS.loans, so on and so forth. You could go to janover.ventures/brands and you'll have a list of a lot of our websites and a lot of our brands. We're in the process of building a very cool portal that people will be able to access directly. And we're hoping that it's going to be something like the Rocket Mortgage for commercial real estate, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I can execute. Hopefully we can execute. That's it. I'll tell you what, if you're online and you're looking for multifamily loans, you're going to end up on one of our sites, and you're going to see our ads, and you're going to come back for more because we're really convincing digitally.
No, that's interesting. To use digital media to send traffic to your website. You've also used you're also using Republic campaign to raise funding from users. Why are you going through the crowdfunding platform, and why are you not using VC money to raise funding?
It's great. I've got so many answers for that. I love that question.
Right.
So first off, this is our company. And we're gonna have control. We're gonna make the rules. We're gonna set the terms, and we're gonna set the course for our success. A very sweet, wonderful VC living on the other side of the country or the other side of the world is not going to be driving our business. We're going to be driving our business. We're going to be driving our long-term goals. We're not going to be driven by short-term decision-making. Oh, you've got to blitz scale and you have to 10x and then raise another round and another round, or you're going to fail. We started this year profitable. We care about profitability. We started this year cash flow positive. We're still cash flow positive right through COVID. We really care about those things. So another reason is because our mission is around democratizing access to commercial real estate capital. It's democratizing access to capital markets. And Reg CF is literally that. It's how do we give investors access to things that they didn't have access to before? So it's completely aligned with who we are and what we're doing. The truth is, I didn't know if it would work well or how it would go. It was a really high risk endeavor, and as of our recording here, we've been featured in places like Angels and Entrepreneurs and King's Crowd and Investor Place, and we have 1,800 investors with more than $400,000 invested, and it's been a really positive, exciting, scary, fun, wonderful experience.
Nice, got it. You raising? I think you raised more than $1 million. Well, what is? I'm sorry, around $400,000. And what would be the money used for? And what are your plans going ahead?
So it's so far we doubled our 2019 revenue in 2020, and I hope we can triple it. We'll see what happens, and we kind of want to keep doing that, right, every year. And the only way to do that is to hire amazing people. So the money is going to be used to hire developers, right, or depending how much, right, but hiring for our development team to build software, to release software more quickly, for our content team, so we can continue to expand our SEO moat, our digital media moat, to the point where it becomes insurmountable by competitors. We have to. We'll probably do some more interesting and creative digital marketing stuff. And we've got to hire smart people to help us build the processes to make us more scalable, so that we can hire more. We'll probably ultimately put somebody else in the lender relationship side of things, so we can continue to cultivate lender relationships on our platform. And that's it. And then we're going to be really seriously considering a next round, hopefully much bigger, so that we can pour some rocket fuel in this spaceship, because we're going to Mars. We'll meet Musk in Mars.
Awesome. And you also mentioned that you around $80 million was funded in quarter one of this year, and if you look at the run rates, it's more than around $300 million. Want to understand what is the revenue model? How much money do you make out of all the loans are being processed? And I assume you also you're like a technology platform, but you do not really find out the borrowers, so there's a lot less risk when it comes to this sort of model.
Yeah, so generally speaking, and not in all cases, but mostly speaking, we're doing revenue share with lenders and partners. So we're giving them volume of business. They're giving our borrowers better deals, better rates, better terms, and we're taking a revenue share. And our revenue share can be anywhere. It equates to anywhere from 25 basis points to 400 or 500 basis points per deal. So 100 basis points is 1%. So we could make, if you use $1 million as a rule of thumb, we could make anywhere from $2,500 to $50,000 a deal, depending on depending on the product, the lender. Is it a balance sheet lender? Are they selling loans on the secondary market and securitizing them? It depends on a myriad of factors, but that's upon closing, we take some piece of the lender's revenue, and we calculate it as an expression of a percentage of the total loan amount.
Got it. And I want to understand about your team. Are you the sole founder, or do you have other co-founders helping out in this company?
I am the sole founder, but I am not alone. There's people in this team I trust like my family, and if I were to spontaneously combust, she would go on without me. But I'm really glad to be here. I've had many companies in my life, some very big. I sold one. I blew up some others. Try not to blow this one up, and I put my name on it, so I believe. But I'm the sole founder with a team of people that are smarter and more wonderful than me around me.
Got it. Blake, you've been into real estate. We got a lot of people who are listening to this podcast, and they're from the business side of the world. They're more into sales and operations, and they're a little fearful to create software products, right? And since you're a sole founder, I wanted to understand, what does it take to build a software company? What if you don't have that, technical expertise? Do you think we can a founder can still build a high quality business?
Of course. And it depends who you're talking to, what the path is. So if you talk to somebody in Silicon Valley, they're going to tell you the path is a technical co-founder. And that may be the case, but it doesn't have to be. I think that when we read these business books, these biographies of people that are successful, and read these stories about Uber and the 1 in a million deals that becomes 1,000x or 100,000x for a VC investor, and we say, well, this is what they did, so this is a model for what I should do. But it's a really classic case of survivorship bias. So we don't know about the 10,000 people that did the same exact thing and failed. So what I would say is there's no limits. We live in this beautiful distributed universe right now with a gig economy where you can go onto Upwork and you can say, listen, I want to hire somebody who's billed $10,000 or $100,000 and has had all positive reviews, and he's some brilliant engineer, and it's X dollars per hour. And that's okay. And that might be a place to find a co-founder too. But there's a lot of resources out there. And if you're young, and this is something that's interesting to you, learn to code. I'm not a technical founder, but I could tell you that when I was 12 years old, 11 years old, I taught myself Borderland C++. I bought the book. I learned how to program because I thought it was cool. So it's harder. It's harder to pick up new stuff really quickly now, as well as I did when I was 12. But don't let that hold you back. If you're not a fancy full stack web developer, you can find a co-founder. You can find some contractors. You could get a proof of concept going. That shouldn't hold anybody back.
All right, Blake, quickly want to do the top three. What's your favorite business book?
Good to Great by Jim Collins.
Awesome.
Have you read it?
Yeah, I love that book. All the books of Jim Collins are some of my favorites.
He did this thing with the fox and the hedgehog that just blew my mind. In the beginning, I'm like, yeah, I'm a fox. I'm here and I'm there and I'm everywhere. And by the end of it, I was like, oh, I have to be a hedgehog. Okay. So it's a wonderful book. Thank you for asking.
Absolutely. And, if you could go back in time when you started working in Janover Ventures, what is the one thing you would have focused on or done anything differently?
So I feel like I did a pretty good job. If I could do it a little bit differently, I would have raised money sooner, and I would have invested in building our software sooner. Not from the beginning. I wouldn't do things a year and a half earlier. I would just, but I might have invested more deeply 6 months earlier and started fundraising 6 months earlier or 8 months earlier or something like that. And if I could go back to earlier versions of myself in earlier businesses, I would tell them, go raise money. So I never did it before. This is my first time doing this activity.
Correct. And what's your favorite online tools? Example, Gmail, Slack, Zoom.
It's so funny. I wrote Slack and then I crossed it out because everybody uses Slack. So I'll tell you the tool that saved my life is Notion. Yes. And I use that for managing my brain. I have this constant flow of ideas that are constantly coming all the time. And if I don't write them down or say something immediately, they're gone. So I use Notion, and I have like a personal Kanban board, and all my new thoughts and ideas go into there. And every morning I can like open it up on my desktop and organize it. So sometimes I have a good idea.
Correct. Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. I use Google Sheets and to keep a track of all the ideas that is coming on. Blake, you're running a campaign on Republic. Can you talk a little more about the campaign, and can even non-accredited investors also invest into your company or not?
Anybody can invest. I mean, subject to laws and rules that I don't know anything about. It's the minimum investment is $100. It's on republic.co. Our campaign is republic.co/Janover -ventures. So Janover, Janover -ventures, VENTURES. So republic.co/Janover Ventures. And as of the day we're doing this, it's been amazing. It's more than $400,000 from it's more than 1,800 people, almost 2,000 people. It's wonderful. And it ends this year. So there's still November, December, there's still about 2 months left. So no rush, but I hope it fills up really quickly, and get in while you can. We're not going to be running this round forever.
Well, congratulations. I think $400,000 raising any kind of money is very difficult. So congratulations on that. And we'll put that on the show notes. Blake, what is the best way people can reach out to you and know more about you?
You can find me on LinkedIn. You just look up my name, Blake Janover. I'm pretty active there. If you want to get weird, I'm on Twitter, and I'm tweeting all kinds of weird stuff that comes in my head. Like not professional, I don't think, but that's at Blake Janover. And you could shoot me an email, but it's hit or miss if I respond. It's blake@janover.ventures.
Correct. We'll put that in the show notes. Blake, thank you so much for taking your time speaking to us. I really enjoyed my conversation with you.
Yeah, me too, man. Thank you so much.